What is going on, everybody? So right behind me we have the 2020 Volkswagen Passat, and Volkswagen did make a decent amount of changes for 2020, but I personally don't think it's enough. I actually think that Volkswagen put so little effort into this car that it's almost debatable whether or not you should buy it brand new at all. But I'm all about giving vehicles a fair chance, so we're gonna go in depth with this 2020 Passat. I'm gonna show you the exterior, the interior, take it for a drive, and ultimately I'll let you guys decide if you think this car is worth the money. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and check out the 2020 Volkswagen Passat. But let's go ahead and start off with positives. In terms of pricing, this actually starts below a lot of the competition, and then as is, it's nearing the high 20,000s, low 30,000s. So it's pretty decently priced. It's not way out there, which definitely would be a mistake to overprice this car. At that point, I would not recommend it at all. But in terms of styling, I think this looks really good, especially in this tourmaline blue metallic. This blue may sway me into buying whatever you throw this paint coat onto, because it is the coolest blue I have ever seen. It's gorgeous. It almost looks like the Pacific Ocean in paint form. It's so stunning. Now as we come to the front, you're going to have a slightly different front end than the previous year models. I think I actually preferred the slightly more aggressive look of the previous year models. This one looks okay, but it just looks very boring in my opinion in the front. Now because this is the fully loaded trim, you are going to get LED lights on this vehicle. So you have full LED lights, and they're very bright. They work very well, and the daytime running LED is pretty basic, nothing very special or unique going on there. And then once again, as we come down to the grille, it's just horizontal lines, chrome here, and decent functionality going on here in the middle. These off to the side are actually not going to be functional at all. So there is that. Now as we move to the hood, I do want to compliment Volkswagen on the fact that all the hood lines and just all the lines on their cars in general look very muscular. They look very stout and strong. I absolutely am in love with the styling of this car because it's simplistic, but when you see it in person, it has such a classic look to it. I love the hood lines, and they are physically sharp. So I actually went down and got some cleaner, waxed this thing. So I really wanted this paint to show out, and the lines feel physically sharp on this vehicle. So I've never felt that on anything but a Volkswagen product. Now as we move down to the wheels, you have these 18-inch wheels, which is surprising because they look a lot bigger than 18 inches, but they are in fact only 18-inch wheels. Now I love the design of them. I think from a side profile, it does a great job getting that machined look, that high gloss silver with the high gloss black, and then pairing it with this exterior color. It's a winning combination in my personal opinion. So big plus for the wheels on this. I do like those a lot. As far as the tires, they're 235 45s all the way around, so square setup. And believe it or not, I've never heard of this brand of tire. It says Giddy Comfort. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, so forgive me. But yeah, these are the tires that come on it. I will admit though, they seriously add to the comfort factor of this car. Now, as we move to the side profile, here's where you guys can really see that this is a long, nice, classic looking sedan. Very German in the way that it looks, just straight to the point, but the lines are very defined, and I really like that. Now, as we come to the back, this area here, if you look at it at the right angle, it looks very Mercedes-Benz-like. And most of that is due to the way the paint sort of swirls in like a C shape right there. It's pretty neat, and I thought that that was a really nice angle of this car. Now, as we move towards the back, you're going to have lights back here that look really cool at night. So I really like the design of these tail lights. It's classic Volkswagen. And now right back here, you have your Passat badge, Volkswagen badge, obviously, and then no visible exhaust. You just have these chrome areas here that are meant to mimic exhaust tips, but they are not going to be real. But let's go ahead and fire up this little turbocharged 4-cylinder and see what it sounds like. All right, you guys, so here is the key for the Volkswagen Passat. Now, up here, you're gonna have your lock, you're gonna have remote start located right here, your trunk release, your unlock, your panic here off to the side, Volkswagen symbol, and then you have your signature switchblade key to get into the vehicle if the battery on the key dies, or if the battery on the car were to die, not allowing you to get in and out of the vehicle. So it's nice to have that there. Now, obviously, you can get into the car using this. You also have touch sensitive areas on the door. There's a little indent there. Put your thumb there, it's gonna lock it. Your mirrors are gonna fold in. And there's a touch pad right behind the door handle. You just grab it, and that's going to unlock the vehicle for you. All right, so as we approach the interior of the Passat, the door opens very wide, so getting into it is easy. I never comment on that, but this is just one of those out of the blue things that I just had to mention. Now, this has the brown interior, which the brown color is easily one of the prettiest colors of brown that I've seen. It looks so stunning, and you have this white stitching going on the outside of it. And then coming to the door, you're going to have more of that brown leather there in the middle, so you have a little insert of that brown leather there. It's going to be soft touch up here. You have this cheap wood there. It's meant to look like matte wood, but it's obviously plastic. Your door handle right here, door locks, mirror controls right next to that. It says Fender audio there, but that's not an actual speaker. As we come down, you have your release for your tailgate or your trunk. Speaker down here. Really good storage space. This is all soft right here, so that's a huge plus. Window controls, window lock, plastic here, plastic right here, but this is once again going to be that brown leather. Feels really nice. You have this really beautiful, just brushed aluminum Passat kick plate here, but it does not illuminate at night, which isn't a huge deal. Aluminum pedals look great. Seat controls. You have 3 memory seat settings, and then here's a closer look at that leather, which is just really supple, white stitching, and just the color is once again so beautiful. Now coming off to the side, you do have a little cubby here. You can put like a wallet or something in there. More of that just awful cheap wood, hard plastic here, soft here, obviously hard plastic on the side, but no one really cares about that. Automatic lights, interior illumination, manual steering wheel. It does go up and down and telescope, but what do you guys say we go ahead, hop in, and we'll check out the rest. All right, so shutting the door on the Passat. I mean, very solid shut, to be expected. Now here's a wider look at the interior for you guys. And as you can see, it is very simplistic, very simplistic. Now to start stop button is going to be right down here, foot in the brake. And that's all there is to it. So looking at the steering wheel, I mean, this is the same steering wheel you've had in like 2008 Volkswagen. So it is very familiar, and the leather quality is good, so I do want to compliment on that. Over here, all of your media controls, previous, next, up and down to control this little infotainment screen, which I'll get to in just a second. Phone, voice commands. Over to the left, cruise control settings. You do have adaptive cruise on here, and then your volume located here. No paddle shifters or anything on the back. You're going to have your wipers here, not automatic wipers. Lighting over here. You'd have your lane assist on the very end, that button right there. And then, as you guys saw, your lighting controls are right over here. Now coming to the dials, I mean, super simplistic dials. So you have your tack over to the left, you're going to have your speedometer right over here. And then in the middle, I can use those buttons to the right of the steering wheel to just flow through right here. So that is super simplistic. And then left, right to see all of your different settings. So yeah, there's a lot of aspects about this that Volkswagen did not try on at all. So that's kind of really upsetting, because the European version of this has a completely different interior, way nicer. And I think if we got that, this car would be a much more appealing package, because the exterior, in my opinion, is rock solid, nothing wrong with it. I think it looks awesome, even compared to the competition. Now, coming over to the left, you just have a vent right there, just pushing out air. You're gonna have some soft plastic right up here, soft plastic up here, speaker up there for your Fender audio, no middle speaker, and then a speaker over there for your Fender audio. And then once again, just horizontal dash right there with this singular silver piece going all the way down, which is nice because it flows into your vents. Looks pretty cool. More of that cheap wood. And then as you come right down here, you are going to have your touchscreen. So I will admit the responsiveness is great, and it does have the feature where it senses your finger coming, so as I get closer it will pull up just like that. And everything's very easy to control. It's fairly quick, has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so that is a massive save for the system. And then the Fender audio in here isn't as good as the Fender audio in other vehicles, so that is a positive / negative right there. Now moving down, you have heated seats on both sides, no cooled seats available. 3 settings, and all this, once again, very familiar. So you can really tell Volkswagen just did not try with this interior, and it kind of makes sense with a dying segment, but at the same time, it really isn't acceptable when you're selling a brand new car to people who work hard for their money, and they're going to pay for something that you as a company did not work hard to produce. So that's the hardest part about looking at this interior. Dual zone climate control, you do have that here. Moving the shifter back, you have a USB located right down there if it'll focus. 12-volt storage space here where I have my wallet. Once again, the same shifter from like 2008. Reverse, we'll pull up your backup camera. Well, if I actually put it into reverse, you have a backup camera. No different views. The pixelation is pretty bad, and then it does turn. I'm sorry, it does not turn with your steering wheel, so you don't even get that. But you do have parking sensors, which are located right here. Park assist, a physical e-brake, which some people may like or hate. 2 cup holders right here, a little extra storage space, lots of blank buttons over there if I didn't mention that. Then as we move back, your armrest is nice and plush, very soft, but only one arm can really fit on here. 2 people may be a little bit of a stretch. Lifting that up, you do have deep storage space, but no more ports or anything available in there. Lockable glove box. Coming up, you have your mirror here. Very old-fashioned style moonroof where you have to twist this to open. But it is nice to have that, lets in a lot of light, and it does make the brown in this interior just look so much better with all that sunlight just pouring onto it. Now your lights in here aren't LED, but they are extremely bright at night, so that kind of counteracts it, but you are going to have more of a warm tone when you turn your lights on. Sunglass holder right up here, if you guys can't even see that. There we go. And then your vanity mirror with a light up here. Once again, not LED, but at least it is very bright at night. Pretty much it for the inside. Let's go ahead and check out the back. Okay, so coming to the back of the Passat. Now, here's one of the best things about this car, and that's the amount of room you have here. So I'm 6 feet tall. I have this set to my driving position, and I have just an ample amount of knee room. It's very comfortable back here. My foot room is great. I can slide my feet underneath, not an issue. In terms of headroom, I have good headroom. Now, obviously, I've got very big hair, so even above that, I still have almost 2 inches of headroom. That's fantastic. And then coming here in the middle, you're going to have 2 vents, heated seats for both outboard passengers, and then 2 USBs, mat pocket right behind here. This middle hump is sort of tall, but you can easily fit a 3rd person here, no issue, and you have plenty of width in here, so I'm not going to be bumping elbows, at least not as much as other vehicles. Now, folding down this middle armrest, the first thing I want to compliment on is how soft this armrest is. It is incredibly plush, and it is the best thing to rest your elbow on. And you've got very deep cup holders, so that is a plus. Other than that, you've got some lights back here. They're not LED, but just like the front, they're very bright. A grab handle, hooks, 2 hooks here as well to hang dry cleaning, whatever you need to hang on there. And that's pretty much gonna be it. Storage space is pretty decent, and the materials are pretty much the same as the front. So let's go ahead and check out the trunk space. Okay, so coming to the back of the 2020 Passat. Now, you do have one feature back here, which is going to be the kick feature. So basically, you just kick your foot right underneath like that, and the trunk is going to go up. And it works pretty consistently. So for the most part, every time I do it, it works every single time. So that is really nice. Now, coming back here, you have about 15.9 cubic feet of space, and the opening is very wide, so getting things in here should not be an issue. And then once you lift up the floor right here, you're going to have a donut as well as your jack assembly equipment located underneath there. Now, you can pull these tabs here, and that's going to fold down the rear seats, obviously giving you more storage space, and it's a pretty usable area. So once again, the trunk space is pretty good, and just getting things in and out shouldn't be an issue. But let's go ahead and close this up, and we'll see what's under the hood. Okay, so coming under the hood of the Volkswagen Passat. Now, for 2020, you only have one basically powertrain option. You only have one combination. That's this 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and a 6-speed automatic. That is it. You have no other options. And you're gonna get 174 horsepower, 206 pound-feet of torque. And that's pretty underpowered for this size of a sedan. Even more disappointing is the fuel economy. This gets 23 in the city, 34 on the highway. And remember, this is only front wheel drive. And on top of that, this has the biggest fuel tank in the competition. This has an 18.5 gallon fuel tank. Everything else is between 14 and 16 gallons. So obviously, you guys can tell this is another area where, at least on the Passat, Volkswagen doesn't really seem like they're trying very much. Now let's go ahead and get this on the road, see how it does. All right, everyone, so driving the 2020 Volkswagen Passat. Let me just start with the obvious. This thing is extremely underpowered. So I'm gonna floor it right now. It's not fast at all. And granted, this isn't supposed to be fast, but it's not even really quick. So that's very disappointing. And in normal drive mode, you really have to get into the throttle to get this thing to move. The funny part is, if you throw it into sport, then it's actually really good. It keeps you right in the boost all the time. But the downside is that's really going to cut into your fuel economy pretty significantly, because it's holding you anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 RPM at the lowest most of the time. So there is that. And this 6-speed automatic, it's not even the DSG that Volkswagen is known for, that really good fast shifting dual clutch. It's not even a fast shifting automatic. So if I throw it into its manual mode and I downshift, just downshifted, just downshifted, just downshifted, and then upshifts, they're okay. It's nowhere near what you would expect from Volkswagen. And you know, it's really upsetting because this car drives so well, you guys, so well. It's decently quiet in here. It's, you know, very well composed whenever you're driving. It has such a comfortable feel to it. It's a German sedan, and it drives like a German sedan. And you notice that, especially when you're on the highway and you're going above 60 miles an hour. Heck, if you live in Texas, they have speed limits of 80. And if you are obviously in Germany and you're on the Autobahn, you can tell that this is an Autobahn developed vehicle. It's so smooth. I can be going the highest of speed limits in America and let go of the steering wheel and it will still keep straight, no issues. So that is very, very impressive. And it's such a cruiser on the highway. I mean, it's comfortable, it's composed, and you feel like you always have control of this vehicle when you're going high speeds. All right, so getting onto the highway, Going 40 right now. I'm gonna floor it and get to 70. And there we go, 70. So, took a little bit to get going, but like I was talking about with highway driving, once you're on the highway, it is very stable. Now, it may sound a little loud in here, and that's because it is, but it's not really because of the car. I'm on, what am I on? I'm on the 5 right now, and I'm over here near Dana Point. And the road is very bumpy. It has no solid tarmac on it. And so you have a lot of grooves and you just have a lot of tire noise developing because of that. So it's more the road than the car. But either way, let me show you guys what I was talking about when it comes to how well this car does at high speed. So going 70 right now. I'm actually gonna speed up a little bit, and this is only to show you guys what I was talking about. Now, I highly suggest you do not do this, but if I were to take my hands off the wheel, it doesn't move. It stays completely straight, and it is so easy to drive on the highway. I barely have to make any adjustments, and the car feels secure. It doesn't feel like I'm going as fast as I'm going. It doesn't at all. And that is the biggest compliment driving wise that I can give this vehicle, because you don't feel this until you get to higher end, you know, German products. So I'm very impressed that this has such good stability at high speeds. It's really good, and it really does make highway driving very comfortable. And sitting in these seats, I'm comfortable. You know, I can see all of my blind spots well. If I were to change lanes right now, there's someone in my blind spot, so I'm not gonna get over right now. But I guess they're not so much in my blind spot that blind spot monitoring went off. But either way, it's fine. Now, passing is where you will have a problem. So if I wanted to pass this white Lincoln right here, I would have to floor it, and I'm barely catching up to this guy. All right, so let's wrap up driving impressions. Now, this doesn't feel like a new car. It feels like an older car that you've gotten with very low mileage. It just doesn't feel like a brand new car. It feels like you went back in time to maybe 2010, 2012 Volkswagen, and you're experiencing what that year was like new. And this is kind of what it feels like. It's good, it's just nowhere near being great. And that is the issue, because there are a lot of competitors in this segment that are great. And with Volkswagen having the previous history of the Dieselgate, with sedans not doing so well, I think those in combination haven't really made it easy for Volkswagen to sell sedans in the US. So on top of having a bad reputation, you are selling in a class that is slowly dying. So with something like this, I can't imagine it would sell very well. But the only person I think would like this is if you're a Volkswagen fan, you are a fan of the older Volkswagen styling inside and out, you want something a little bit more simplistic, you absolutely do not want a lot of tech, then this could be for you. Whether or not you should buy it new, that's a whole different conversation, because I would personally say no. But you know, once again, it's your money, you're allowed to do with it what you please. That's just my personal take on it. Let me know what you guys think, comment below, but let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Well, everyone, that's going to wrap up this review. Like I said at the beginning, I'm gonna let you guys decide, what do you think about this 2020 Passat? Comment below, let me know, would you get this over the competition? Do you think this offers something the competition does not offer at all? Is there something appealing about this that would attract you to buy it? Or do you think this is far behind everything else in the class? Let me know, and if you're new to the channel, I'd love to have you guys subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next review.